If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, but let's get right to it. I just got back a little while ago. I went and saw a matinee of 1917. And then I waited till 4 o'clock, watched the 49ers game, and they won their playoff game. So now I was settled in and ready to do my review. It's an amazing movie. I can see why it's already winning awards from the Golden Globes. I had not seen it yet, other than all of the marketing that's been on television, with that classic shot of the one character running as explosions are going off behind him and everything. And I really didn't know much about the film going in. So 1917, it's all about World War I. And it's about two British soldiers, Lance Corporal Schofield and Lance Corporal Blake. And they basically receive impossible orders. They have to go only 9 miles from where they're at into the German area, and to where the next line is about to of the British soldiers are about to invade and try to take down the Nazis. And they have to deliver a message that's going to tell them to stand down, because the Nazis are setting it up as a trap. And the thing is, there's 1,600 soldiers waiting to attack the Germans in this particular position. And so these guys get these orders, and one of the characters, Blake, Lance Corporal Blake, his brother is one of the soldiers in the company that they're trying to get the message to tell them to stand down to save all their lives. So this thing's winning awards like crazy. They did an amazing job shooting this. The cinematography was fantastic. I mean, obviously a lot of natural light went into this film. They shot the movie where it feels like it's one continuous shot and you're walking along with these guys throughout the entire film. So traditionally, where you would go to an establishing shot and then you'd cut to over the shoulders of somebody, the camera is constantly moving, and it'll position into a 2-shot over the shoulder, and then steady cam around to the other way to get the other 2-shot, and then show the wide shot. And it was really extremely impressive. Now, they did do a lot of camera tricks where they'd pass a boulder or a rock or a wall, and you knew that that's where there was a cut point, and they would wipe and then pick it up over on this side, and or they would go into a dark tunnel, and next thing you know, you'd come out and you'd be in the tunnel system, but it was obvious that was probably a set somewhere. But when you went in, it went to black and then come out. And so they did a lot of camera stuff to where they could cut and edit, but it still always made you feel like the camera never stopped moving, it was really amazing how they pulled that off. Roger Deakins was the cinematographer on that, did a great job. Sam Mendes was directing this film, did a lot of the James Bond movies. I've loved a lot of his work. The budget on this movie was $90 million. So they spent a ton of money making it. I thought going in that this was going to be like a Saving Private Ryan type of movie. And in some respects it was, but anyway, the actors, Dean Charles Chapman was the lead with George McKay. And these were the two guys, the two British soldiers you were following throughout the whole thing. Now, in all the trailers, you had Benedict Cumberbatch in the trailer. You had Colin Firth in the trailer. You had Mark Strong in the trailer. I don't believe Richard Madden was ever in the trailer, but Richard Madden is in this film. And what you don't find out throughout the entire movie is like those guys only probably put in like 1 or 2 days worth of work on this film. They showed up, they were in one scene, they delivered maybe 8 to 10 lines, and that was it. And it was like every time they would get to a certain point in the movie, they'd run into a certain character. Boom. There's Mark Strong playing his character, and he was only in the movie for about 3 minutes or something. Boom, he's gone. But they were peppered in enough to where it let you breathe a little bit and go, oh, here's somebody I recognize. Because these two actors that played the leads, I'm not familiar with them. That's not to say they haven't done lots of stuff, but their performances were so good. Dean Charles and George, absolutely fantastic. Everybody did great on this. I mean, even Benedict Cumberbatch having like 8 lines was absolutely fantastic as this one character. Colin Firth, which I did a movie with Colin Firth years ago, called Arthur Newman, and with Emily Blunt, and he was fantastic. I was crew on that. He was fantastic to the cast and crew. What a super, super nice guy. I love anything Colin Firth is in because he's just so good to everybody behind the scenes, and he's definitely somebody you want on board your project. I mean, I don't want to give too much away on this film other than it's just, it's heart-wrenching. You don't necessarily leave with a good feeling when you leave this movie. It's sad. There was a title card that popped up in the end. I don't think it's much of a spoiler, but it said, "Thank you to Lieutenant Colonel so-and-so Mendes for sharing these stories." So what I got from that, I don't know. I'll have to read in the trades, but it seemed like Sam Mendes' great-grandfather served in the war in 1917, and these stories were told from him, and he made basically a movie about his great-grandfather's stories. And I don't know, because he was a lieutenant colonel, if one of the two lead actors might have been portraying him, or he just heard the story when this went down in World War One. Everything from the costumes to the period, everything looked authentic as hell. And again, like the performances that Sam Mendes was able to pull out of these. Look, I'm going to say it. British actors are so much better than American actors. And I'm an American actor. But these guys just bring it. They absolutely bring it. And damn, they're all probably classically trained. It's just one thing I'll say is American actors, I always feel like are more interested in walking red carpets and being on covers of magazines and things like that. Where a lot of British actors or foreign actors, whether you're like Christian Bale from New Zealand or whatever, they're all about the work, and they come in and they give like 200%. And again, I'm not trying to knock American actors. I'm an American actor, but I just feel like these guys really bring it, and they helped sell this film. So yeah, hats off to everybody. I can see why it's winning awards. For this being the first movie that I've gone to the theater of 2020. Wow. What an amazing movie to sit through for the first film of the year in the theater. And I know I've got Bad Boys 2 is coming up and all these other movies that I'm going to be going and seeing. But this one was very emotional. There was one scene that got me. I just had a baby. My wife and I just had a baby, and she's 8 weeks old. And there was a scene with an infant in this movie that actually, like, my eyes welled up in tears, and I got really, really emotional in the theater. And I didn't expect that. Like, normally I would have watched that and, I would have been affected, but not the way I was affected this time around. And I think it was because I'm a first-time dad, and it was heart-wrenching. So yeah, man, some of the stuff that went down in this movie is amazing. Go see it. 1917. If you have seen it, let's talk about it in the comments section, and we'll see you on the next one.